But now it has been reported that Kyle Hamilton is dealing with some sort of knee injury. Obviously, this happened somewhere in practice, right? What is going on, Ravens flock? My name is Drastic, and I want to welcome you guys back to another video on our YouTube channel, Flocking Ravens. And on today's video, we're going to be talking about major updates to our Baltimore Ravens roster. Some are going to be good, and some are going to be bad, potentially bad. But before we hop into this video, I want to make sure you guys are subscribed to this channel. If you're not already subscribed, make sure to do so now, because for every single time you guys hit the subscribe button, a single teardrop falls down a Steelers fan's cheek. So make sure to hit the subscribe button to help me make a Steelers fan cry. Now, let's get on with this video. There is reports coming out that multiple teams are interested in an OBJ. And our main source is Josina Anderson. Alright? She reported that there are teams monitoring the situation and have expressed interest in potentially joining their organization depending on circumstance surrounding their roster. He's staying in shape and has the experience of playing in the Super Bowl with an MVP-like first half prior to his injury. Fresh now. So what does that mean? OBJ is staying in shape just in case the right opportunity comes his way. And let's be honest, OBJ is not signing with a team that has no shot at making at least the AFC Championship match. Right? Those are teams like the Steelers.
I'm done.
Or the Broncos.
No, sir. You're in fact in first class. Good evening.
Oh.
Thank you.
It's not happening. It is not happening. If OBJ signs with a team that gives him the opportunity to join the organization, it's going to be a team like the Chiefs, the Ravens, the Bills. Those are teams that I could see OBJ agreeing to join. So let's talk through these three teams that have the possibility of signing an OBJ. Let's begin with the Chiefs. Now, me personally, I don't think the Chiefs will sign OBJ. The Chiefs have a lot of their main players coming back from injury. And as of lately, the Chiefs have been trending towards the right direction. They are getting hot at the perfect moment. All right? This is the time to get hot. Any team, this is literally the perfect time to get your team hot. All right? And that's exactly what the Chiefs are doing. So, why bring in OBJ and complicate things, right? Because now you got to figure out where you're going to fit OBJ into your scheme. It's late in the postseason right now. I know Andy Reid is one of the best coaches, and if there's any coaches that could do this, it's going to be him. I understand that. But the Chiefs are not looking to complicate their system right now. The Chiefs are going to look to better their team with what they have now this late in the season. I just do not see them trying to complex their strategy, their schemes this late in the season. So for that reason, I do not believe that the Chiefs were to sign an OBJ. Unless there is some sort of injury that they have a need for an OBJ, a wide receiver, a proven wide receiver, then okay, in that case, I could see it. But right now, I don't see that happening. Now, let's talk about the Bills. We've already seen Josh Allen with a number one wide receiver, right? A big name, a proven number one wide receiver. And I'm referring to Stephon Diggs, just in case you guys don't know who I'm talking about, okay? We've seen what it was like having Stephon Diggs on that team. It did not look good. Why? Because when Josh Allen has a number one wide receiver on his team, he only looks at that receiver, that target. And it's so bad that he literally stares down at that receiver the entire game. And that's the reason why Josh Allen has all those turnovers every season prior to this season. So to bring in another flashy receiver like OBJ to Buffalo, that is a recipe for disaster. Okay, we already know what's going to happen. Josh Allen is going to do what Josh Allen does best. He is going to stare down OBJ, target OBJ 50 times a game, and have 6, maybe 8 interceptions in the playoffs. It's a fact. So for that reason, I do not see any way that OBJ can help Josh Allen get over the hump. Now, let's talk about another team, the Texans. The Texans, I feel like, would be a great landing spot for OBJ because they are in need of a wide receiver right now, right? Because they're just going through it left and right. Now, this is just a matter of, does OBJ think that he's the solution to their problem? Because they're going to be demanding a lot of work from whoever else they bring on board, right? I mean, they already have Deontay Johnson, Nico Collins, and their whole other roster, right? Now, to add in OBJ, like I said with the Chiefs, now you have to figure out where you're going to fit in OBJ into your scheme. Where are you going to put him at? What are you going to do with him? And if they're going to rely heavy on OBJ, I hate to say this, but OBJ, unfortunately, he hasn't proven that he can stay healthy. When you give him a lot of workloads, he's bound to get injured, right? So he has to go into a team that is not going to demand too much of him, right? And for that reason, I feel like the Texans is a great landing spot, but I don't see it happening. Now, I don't see OBJ demanding a whole lot because, I mean, there's only, 3 games left in the postseason and then the Super Bowl, if you make it to the Super Bowl, right? So, you're going to have to pay him something. So now let's move on to our Baltimore Ravens. I think this is a great landing spot for OBJ because he's already familiarized with Todd Monken's system. He has great chemistry with our players, which is great because with the other teams, that's something that he has to build. He has to build chemistry with Josh Allen, Patrick Mahomes, CJ Stroud. This late in the season, you don't have enough time to build chemistry. Either you have it or you don't, right? So right now it's not the time to try to build chemistry with a quarterback. This is something that OBJ already has with Lamar Jackson and the rest of the team. Chemistry is already there, right? And you saw that already with Patrick Mahomes and DeAndre Hopkins. Y'all remember the first 3-4 games. It wasn't that great. It was not that great. So you don't want to put OBJ in a situation where he goes, gets paid, and he can't really contribute because there isn't enough chemistry. So he has the chemistry with Lamar Jackson, right? Now, the third thing is we were left in a cliffhanger last season, right? So I just feel like the whole entire team felt like they didn't finish. They were right there. Like the goal line was right there, bro. The finish line, right, was right there. They were so close. And I think everyone just said, yo, we'll get them next year. It's going to be our year. And that includes OBJ. So I feel like OBJ has the same mindset that the entire locker room has. This is our year. So it's going to be as if he never left. That's exactly what it's going to be like. Now, another thing, signing an OBJ this late in the season, I don't know the exact status of his health. I think he's fully healthy. And if that's the case, this is the perfect time to bring in a player like OBJ because you just need him for pretty much 4 more games. I'm willing to bank that he stays healthy for 4 more games, especially given the fact that he's not going to have a bunch of workload on him, dumped on him, right? So with the Zay Flowers situation, I think this would just make the most sense. Sign a player like OBJ right now, and that's going to help us, right? Now, how productive is OBJ going to be? Like I said last season, right? OBJ, I didn't think he was going to come into the Ravens to pull off a 1,000-yard season. I just didn't see that happening, right? But OBJ was an important piece to our whole scheme because just the respect he demands from the defense, right? He's going to pull in one or two defenders his way. That's going to open up other receivers like Rashad Bateman, Isaiah Likely, Mark Andrews. So bringing a player like OBJ, you're not bringing him necessarily for the catches. You're bringing him to kind of help the other players out, right? And of course, if he gets catches or gets a couple of yards for the Ravens, great. But if he doesn't, I'm okay with that too, because it's going to take. It takes a village. It takes a village, and everyone just, I don't know. I just see too much value in OBJ. On the Zay Flowers topic, I want to talk a little bit more in depth about his situation right now. John Harbaugh got up on the presser and said that it is not a season-ending injury, which is great news, right? It's day-to-day. It's a knee injury, and that's pretty much all the information that we got from John Harbaugh. Now, there are other reports out there that he has a knee brace, that he's walking around without crutches, which is great news. And there is hope for him to play this week. But in my humble opinion, I don't think Zay Flowers should play this week. Let's not rush him back into this game. I feel like we could still win without Zay Flowers. Of course, having Zay Flowers play would just increase our chances, but it's also going to increase the chances of him getting re-injured, or if he plays injured, making it worse, right? So is that really something you want to gamble? Because we will need Zay Flowers in the long run. Because first we're going to play the easy win Steelers, right? That's an easy dub. But then we have to play a team like Buffalo, where we will need a player like Zay Flowers, right? We could possibly still pull it off, but we will definitely need all the help we can get for that game, especially after what we did to them in the regular season. Oh, you know they're gonna bring everything they got. So I'm not willing to gamble Zay Flowers' health. I'm not. I'd rather sit him out. And not only that, do you guys remember last year in the postseason when Mark Andrews played Hurts? Now, I know Mark Andrews gave it his all because he's a team player. Mark Andrews is one of the best tight end the Ravens have ever seen. One of. I didn't say the best, whatever, before you guys get into the comments talking about y'all know what. One of the best tight ends the Ravens have ever had, because he is just a team player, bro. Injured or not, you know Mark is going to give it his all. And I'm more than sure he did. But he was way too injured to be on that field. And Mark Andrews, I think it has so much dog in him that he doesn't care. He's going to go on that field and give it his all. But that's where the coaching staff needed to get involved and say, you know what? There's a possibility that you hurt us more than you help us. So let's kind of settle down a bit, sit out this game, and let's see how you look next week and the week after that, right? Because there was a couple plays that because of Mark Andrews, it kind of set us back, right? Now, I'm not trying to blame it on Mark Andrews why we lost the game or whatever, but I'm bringing this up to say, let's not let the same thing happen. If Zay Flowers is not ready to play this game, sit him out. Sit him out. It's one thing to just be medically cleared, but you also got to see how is he performing. If he does medically get cleared and he feels great and you guys see that he looks great and everything, y'all got to also see, like, is he 100%, 80%, 90%? 70%, because a 70% Zay Flowers might not be our a big help. It might actually hurt us. Why? Because with a 100% Zay Flowers, we already had a couple minor issues. I'm talking specifically with the slipping, with the dropping balls, all of that, right? So you don't want a 70% Zay Flowers. 80%, I'm 50-50 on it. A 90%, I'm willing to take that. A 100%, all day. All day, I would take a 100% Zay Flowers. So those are the things that we gotta look into for Zay Flowers' situation right now, because a lot of fans are saying, "Yo, as long as he could go, I don't care. I want him on that field." Now, the next player that we have to talk about is the reason why I said we have some good news, we have some bad, possibly bad, very bad news. This next player is Justice Hill. Now, I want to make one thing super clear. I do not hate Justice Hill. I think Justice Hill is a great addition to our team. But my issue is not with Justice Hill, it's with John Harbaugh. Because every single time Justice Hill is on that field available for us, John Harbaugh looks at Justice Hill like the face of our running backs. He ignores that we have J.K. Dobbins, Gus Edwards. Sorry, I don't know why I said Justice Hill. Gus Edwards, Derrick Henry. He will just put Justice Hill on that field over and over and over. Those are the main reasons why we lose most of the games we lost, because he took snaps away from Derrick Henry and put Justice Hill on there to do a screen pass to him on 3rd and long, right? So that's the issue I have with Justice Hill getting back into this game. Justice Hill has been announced that he might be ready to play for this game. And I'm honestly scared that we see the same thing happen all over again in the postseason. John Harbaugh sits out Derrick Henry and tries to make Justice Hill be the hero. And if it works out, great. But if it doesn't, here we go again. We take an L and we're eliminated from the playoffs. That's my big worry, right? Because Justice Hill is a 50-50 chance. He doesn't give us a 100%. Like, Derrick Henry gives us the best fighting chance to win a game through our running game. But when you give most of the snaps to Justice Hill, it's a 50-50. It could either work out beautifully or it could just be a disaster. A straight up disaster, bro. So I'm scared. You guys should definitely be scared, because this is literally what happens with John Harbaugh every single time we take an L in the playoffs or in the regular season as well. Another injury that we have to talk about that just came out of nowhere is Kyle Hamilton. Kyle Hamilton has been reported to have some sort of knee injury. Now, we already know he was dealing with some sort of shoulder injury from the last game. He got pulled out of the game for a couple of snaps, and then he came back in and played like nothing ever happened. But now it has been reported that Kyle Hamilton is dealing with some sort of knee injury. Obviously, this happened somewhere in practice, right? Now, we just could only hope that it's nothing serious and that he's ready to go this Saturday. If Kyle Hamilton does not play, I don't want to say we don't have a shot, because you know the Ravens will fight no matter what. But Kyle Hamilton is a big part of our success, of the defense success. The defense, that change in our defense, because y'all know how the Ravens started in the beginning of the season. That defense was looking, whew, right? But ever since, Kyle Hamilton and Martin Humphrey stepped up, the defense just made a big 180, bro. So to lose a piece like Kyle Hamilton, it's going to really hurt the Baltimore Ravens in the playoffs. So that's something to keep a close eye on. I feel like it's not too bad. It's nothing serious. Honestly, otherwise, I feel like reports would have came out instantly about it. No, we can only hope. I don't know. Y'all don't know. Nobody knows. We can only hope it's nothing serious. But anyways, like I said in the beginning of the video, if you want to make a Steelers fan cry, make sure you hit the subscribe button, because every single time you hit the subscribe button, a single teardrop falls down a Steelers fan's cheek, bro. I guarantee it. I promise. It's a fact. So make sure you guys hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, and make sure you leave a comment at the end of this video with the hashtag FlockGang. And yeah, man, I'm going to see you on the next video.